The North Central softball team is slugging everything that comes in its way this season. That has Cardinal fans hoping for a CCIW crown after a second-place finish last season. Grab some couch. The Cardinal Report starts right now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Alex Simmons. This week we're joined by the Cardinal softball team and head coach Jim Kulawiak. Coach, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome. Good to be here.
Well, your team has come out of the gate this season quite hot, 8-2 coming back from Arizona, and a lot of it seems to be on the offensive side, swinging the bats pretty well.
Down in Arizona, we hit the ball pretty well. Obviously, the weather is very conducive for the offense because of the warm weather and also the wind out there. And I think probably early on, the hitters seem to have a little bit of an edge down there. I'm not exactly sure why, but it seems to work out that way. But when you get back here, the weather goes in the opposite direction.
What's that like to adjust for some of these hitters? Obviously, we've seen the numbers regress a little bit. Is it something where, it's harder to get the bat around a little bit quicker, or the elements coming into play? Yeah,
the ball just doesn't seem to carry as well. And I think with the new technology they have with these bats, when they get a little bit cold, the ball does not rebound off the bat to the extent it does in the warm weather.
And last weekend, your team took on Aurora to open the home season. The bats were hot, but fielding something that seemed to be a little bit of an issue there.
Yeah, the first game was disappointing because we were in a situation with 2 outs. I believe it was in the 5th to get the 3rd out and get ourselves out of the inning, and instead we made a mistake in the field, and I think we made another one after that and opened the door for them. And Aurora's always had good hitting squads, and they took advantage of it, and unfortunately, we were not able to outscore them.
But a matchup with a tough team like that out of conference, I imagine, has to help you guys. You have got the ball rolling with 2 games early here in the CCIW, but I imagine that's got to get you ready for conference play.
Well, when you play teams like Aurora, and we have this week coming up Illinois Benedictine, they're very comparable to the teams that you see in the CCIW. So from that perspective, you hope it will help you in the long run.
Definitely. Well, it was a back-and-forth slugfest. Let's go to the highlight. A windy Shanauer Family Field is the site for a Saturday softball doubleheader between North Central and Aurora University. The Cardinal power game gets going early in the 4th. Erin Drennan gets out the rake and goes yard. The 2-run blast is her first of the season. Cardinals lead 3-1. But the Spartans wouldn't go away that quietly. Top 5, and they've got the bases chock full. Brianna Nelson trying to put out the fire. Sarah Clauser's hot shot to third, too much for Lauren Schramm to handle. Cardinals lead down to 1. Now Stephanie Dolce is on as a pinch hitter for the Spartans. In the coaching business, they call that a good decision. Off the base of the wall, and it clears the bases. Dolce picks up 3 RBIs, and it's 5-3 Aurora. And the Cardinals continue to fight. Laura Constantine rips this one down the left field line to lead off the inning. Then Taylor Ryan finds a hole in the left side of the infield with this laser. That makes it 7-5 Aurora. 3 batters later, it's Schramm with 2 outs going to that left side again. Ryan comes in to score. 1-run ball game. Whitfield is up next and hits a frozen rope to center field. Shannon Starr hauls it in on her 2nd try. Cardinals fall in a close one. Kind of looking at this team in the preseason coming in, though, one spot that you guys kind of seem to be a little bit inexperienced was in the circle with the pitching.
Absolutely, yeah.
What's your staff kind of been like as far as maybe right at expectations, exceeding a little bit? What's I guess if you had to evaluate their performance here so far?
Kind of what I told them 2 days ago. They've done a decent job, but they still need to do better. So it's the same old story, which you can't be satisfied. And Manja threw a great game yesterday. She had a no-hitter going into the 7th, and she only gave up 4 hits and lost the game in the 10th. Mm-hmm. So we couldn't ask much more from her. And Nelson, even though she gave up 5 yesterday, that was misleading because same scenario. I think we made, I think we had 3 errors, and I think that led to 2 or 3 runs. So a little misleading in terms of the amount of runs she gave up. I thought both pitchers did a pretty good job yesterday. And Kate Crawford, I thought, threw the ball pretty well down in Arizona, and she's come back and she's gotten hit a little bit, but she's had some inflammation in her rotator cuff, so she's really kind of on the shelf for the next week or so.
Okay.
Gabby Moe came in and threw in the Aurora game, the second game, and did a good job. So, we're hoping as time goes on that she'll continue to do that, and we can utilize her as well. So,
with some of these young pitchers, what's that transition like as far as, coming straight from high school and kind of getting thrown into the fire right away here in the early season going?
Well, Manja's thrown a lot in high school. So even though she came out of high school, she pitched a lot in high school and summer ball. But nonetheless, there's definitely an adjustment phase going to college. Crawford and Nelson, although they're juniors and seniors, a junior and senior, they don't have a tremendous amount of innings at our level. Mm-hmm. So they're still relatively on the cusp of it as well. So there's definitely a time there, a learning curve. It's just that we've got to get it to a point where every time they go out there, they're giving us a legitimate shot to win.
Definitely. And on the other side of the coin, how happy have you been with this offense? I know, it has regressed a little bit once you guys have gotten back, kind of gotten in the elements, but so far, team batting average of .363. When you really have some mashers in the heart of the Aura, Laura Wheatfield, Aaron Drennan, Lauren Schramm, just kind of been tearing it up, driving in runs, doing a lot of things to keep that offense going.
Yeah, Whitfield's really been extremely well focused this year. I've seen a big improvement in her overall game, and she's a tough out. Schramm was pretty consistent, cooled off a little bit, but she hit a couple of real good balls second game yesterday. So hopefully she can get back to where she's been. And Drennan's done a good job at the top, along with Mary Karen right after her. Mm-hmm. So, hopefully they can keep it going, and we've got to have some other people that can chip in as well. So if we can get back to where we were, again, a week or two ago, I'm hoping that the remainder of the season they'll be pretty consistent.
How much the key of it is being patient? You look at 438 on base percentage for you guys as a team, 56 walks. It seems like the more your players are kind of looking at some pitches, being able to have a better eye there at the plate, that's when some of the successes come.
You know what? It depends on who's pitching, though. There are some pitchers that we do know a little bit about, and coming into the game, they're not the kind of pitchers you can go in and take strikes against.
Okay.
You got to be ready to hit right from the get-go. Then there's some others that we might not have as good of knowledge on, or depending upon how we saw them warm up, we might want to take an extra pitch or two.
Okay. So kind of just going game by game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, the Cardinals' quick start was bolstered over spring break in Tucson, where the team averaged double-digit run totals in its victory on the trip. We hear more about it in this week's What's the Word?
I think, having a record of 8-2 down there definitely helps us with confidence, and it's a whole different ballgame up here with the CCIW. All the teams are very tough, but definitely having the experience we had down there helps us out a lot.
We had a nice trip out there. We were 8-2. We scored a lot of runs, and when you're scoring runs, it always helps to win. You can't win if you don't score. So we've been hitting the ball pretty well, which keeps us in there. Now we need our pitchers to do a good job, throw strikes, and let our defense just make the play. Bee's a good pitcher. Now she's got to get her confidence in the circle, and then obviously she's playing a little time in the outfield as well. So we need our younger kids to step up. Bree's done a nice job. Katie's done a nice job, and all we can do is hope that some of these younger kids catch fire and just remains into a solid team.
Coach K is a big advocate of the offense. Obviously, all aspects of the game need to be worked on, but with the experience we have on this team, the leadership, that type of thing, I think that kind of filters down to the other girls, and everyone just come out swinging.
Coach, what kind of potential does this team have as we kind of move through April and go into May?
Boy, it's really a hard thing to tab. We have, obviously the conference is a tough hold as it is every year. It's been getting more and more balanced, and it is this year as well. And our non-conference schedule, I think, is pretty decent as well. So there's going to be a lot of games really where it's a toss-up. You have to come out and play consistently in all phases of the game. And if we can do that, I think our chances are decent, obviously, to go out and win. But you know, our opponents are pretty well matched in that regard as well. So how it's all going to shake out, it's so hard to say at this point in time.
As a coach at the helm, kind of what's the dynamic of this team in the dugout? You look at the roster, you've got a veteran squad with 7 seniors, but you also got 6 freshmen. What's that dynamic kind of like?
You know, freshmen are always a little bit more hesitant and a little quieter. The senior group has tried to instill some leadership and also given them some direction and feedback. And I think they've done a good job with it. Mm-hmm. When you've got that gap in there like that, though, there's a little bit of time that expires before they really start to feel comfortable as a unit. And, you know, we've shown some signs of it. Hopefully that'll improve in the next week or two.
And earlier this week, your team opened up CCIW play with a split against Elmhurst. Do things kind of change the style of play at all once you get into these teams that you're very familiar with, you see year in, year out, or is it just like any other game?
I don't necessarily know if the style changes. I think the way the game unfolds sometimes can dictate what you're going to do or how you're going to adjust.
All right. We'll stick around. 2 Cardinal senior leaders join us on set just after the break.